Most men don't realize they're losing until years have already passed. Not because they were lazy, not because they lacked ability, but because they kept choosing what felt good now over what would matter later. Short-term thinking is subtle. It doesn't feel dangerous in the moment. It feels reasonable. One more distraction. One more excuse. One more emotional reaction. One more decision made for comfort instead of direction. And slowly, almost invisibly, that mindset compounds into a life that feels stuck, chaotic, and beneath your potential. Long-term thinking is the dividing line between men who drift and men who lead, between men who react to life and men who shape it. It's the ability to endure discomfort today, so your future isn't built on regret. It's the discipline to delay gratification when everyone else is chasing relief. And it's the mental strength to make decisions based on where you're going, not how you feel right now. In this video, we're going to break down why most men struggle to think long-term, how modern life trains you to live moment to moment, and what actually changes when a man starts operating with a future-focused mind. This isn't motivation. This isn't hustle noise. This is about building a mindset that can withstand pressure, ignore temptation, and make choices your future self will thank you for. If you've ever felt like you're capable of more but keep ending up in the same place, if you're tired of fixing short-term problems instead of building something solid, stay with me. Because once a man learns to think long-term, everything in his life starts to move differently. Most men don't consciously choose short-term thinking. They're trained into it. From the moment you wake up, the world rewards immediacy. Fast dopamine, fast reactions, fast validation. Scrolls, notifications, instant relief, instant outrage, instant pleasure. Everything is designed to keep your attention locked in the present moment. Because a man who never thinks beyond today is easy to influence, easy to distract, and easy to control. Short-term thinking feels harmless because it doesn't announce itself as failure. It shows up as small compromises. Skipping discipline just today. Avoiding discomfort because it feels unnecessary right now. Reacting emotionally instead of responding strategically. Choosing relief over responsibility. None of these decisions feel catastrophic on their own, but compounded over months and years, they quietly shape your identity. You don't become weak overnight. You slowly stop becoming strong. This is why so many men feel behind without knowing why. They work hard, but they're always fixing fires instead of building foundations. They're busy, but nothing meaningful is growing. Their energy is spent reacting to people, to emotions, to circumstances, instead of being invested into a direction. Short-term thinking keeps you in survival mode, and a man stuck in survival mode can't build a future. He can only manage the present. Long-term thinking requires something most men aren't taught: restraint. The ability to say no to what feels good now in service of something greater later. It requires you to sit with boredom, discomfort, and uncertainty without needing immediate payoff. And that's why most men avoid it. Not because they're incapable, but because it exposes where they lack control. Until a man understands that his daily choices are votes for the future version of himself, he will keep living reactively. And as long as he's reactive, he will never feel ahead, no matter how busy or talented he is. The moment a man adopts long-term thinking, his entire identity starts to shift. Not because his circumstances change overnight, but because his decision-making does. He stops asking, "What do I feel like doing?" and starts asking, "What does this build?" That single shift separates men who stay stuck from men who steadily rise. Long-term thinking forces you to confront reality instead of escaping it. You begin to see patterns clearly in your habits, your relationships, your finances, your emotional reactions. You notice how certain behaviors keep producing the same outcomes, and instead of blaming people or luck, you take ownership. This is where discipline stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like power. You're no longer living at the mercy of your impulses, you're directing them. This mindset also changes how you move through the world. You become slower to react and quicker to observe. You don't chase every opportunity, argument, or emotion that presents itself. You start valuing consistency over intensity, quiet progress over loud validation, structure over chaos. While others are looking for motivation, you're building systems. While others are explaining themselves, you're stacking proof. Long-term thinking strips away the need for approval. When your focus is months and years ahead, short-term opinions lose their grip on you. You stop performing for attention and start acting in alignment with where you're going. This is why men who think long-term carry a different presence. They're not rushed, not easily shaken, and not desperate to be understood. They know who they're becoming, and that certainty shows in how they speak, move, and decide. Most importantly, long-term thinking reshapes your self-respect. You trust yourself more because you follow through. You believe in your word because you keep it. And over time, that internal consistency becomes confidence. Not the loud kind, but the kind that doesn't need to prove anything. Short-term thinking feels good in the moment, but it quietly sabotages a man's future. It prioritizes relief over growth, comfort over competence, distraction over direction. Men trapped in short-term thinking chase quick wins, validation, pleasure, approval, emotional release, and then wonder why nothing in their life ever compounds. The truth is simple. Nothing meaningful is built in fragments. A man who thinks long-term understands something most never grasp. Every choice has a delayed cost or a delayed reward. Skipping discipline today doesn't hurt immediately, but it shows up months later as stagnation. Avoiding hard conversations feels easier now, but it creates chaos down the line. Living for instant gratification doesn't destroy you loudly. It erodes you quietly, until you wake up years later feeling behind, resentful, and unsure how you got there. Long-term men accept sacrifice early, so they don't pay with regret later. They train when motivation is low, save when spending feels better, and walk away from distractions even when it costs them socially. They're willing to be misunderstood in the present because they're committed to becoming undeniable in the future. While others are constantly reacting to life, these men are positioning themselves. This is also why long-term thinkers appear calmer under pressure. They're not scrambling to fix everything at once. They know progress isn't dramatic, it's cumulative. Small decisions done consistently beat big gestures done occasionally. They don't need life to feel exciting all the time because they're building something stable beneath it. In the end, the gap between men isn't intelligence, talent, or luck. It's time horizon. One man lives for now and pays forever. The other delays gratification, compounds effort, and eventually lives free. Long-term thinking isn't about being patient for its own sake. It's about choosing the version of yourself you'll respect years from now and acting like that man today. Long-term thinking isn't flashy. It doesn't get applause. It doesn't make for dramatic moments. But it is the single trait that separates men who slowly lose themselves from men who steadily build power, stability, and self-respect. If there's one thing to take from this video, it's this. The life you're living right now is the result of the time horizon you've been operating from. Nothing more, nothing less. Most men don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they keep choosing what feels good today over what builds them tomorrow. Long-term thinking flips that. It teaches you to slow down, to detach from urgency, and to start making decisions that compound instead of collapse. And once you adopt that mindset, everything changes. How you handle pressure, how you deal with people, how you approach discipline, relationships, and purpose. If this video gave you clarity, don't let it end here. Take one idea from today and apply it immediately, not perfectly, but consistently. That's how momentum starts. And if you want more breakdowns like this on mindset, discipline, detachment, and building a life with real direction, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who needs it. Remember, the strongest men aren't in a rush. They're building quietly, thinking further ahead than everyone else. And that's why they always arrive first.